So this is Dr. Gerard at Lakewoods Chiropractic, across the street from the Forest Lake High School at the Schilling Plaza. And this, of course, is our Lakewoods YouTube channel. And the question that comes in to us today is, what are the two most common conditions, particularly from an adult perspective, that you see? And so the first one that we see, the most common one we'll see, particularly with men, is something called lower back pain, or what's commonly referred to as sciatica. And I want to talk a little bit today about why that happens and what it is that we can do here at the office to be able to help something called lower back pain or sciatica. And it's interesting, lower back pain and sciatica, if you kind of trace back where most people's problems in the lower back start from, it really starts when you're a kid. So we have accidents, we have falls. I remember my mom, when she was in elementary school, had a chair pulled out from under her and she landed on her tailbone, and it just continued to be a problem for years after. We have falls off bikes, we have falls out of trees and tree forts. We have sports and concussion type injuries to our lower back. There are people like gymnasts that flip and whip and twist their lower backs, and many other things that can contribute to it. But then we get into other postures and other patterns, as we start getting into the school age and in front of the computer age. We sit like little turtlebacks and we just literally stare into a computer. And of course, that's not necessarily a great posture on your lower back. We drive. Many of you and myself will drive miles and miles and thousands of miles a year, and some of us sit through hours and hours of rush hour traffic. And that, of course, puts a lot of stress on our lower back. And that doesn't talk about the jobs and the lifting and the twisting and the turning that some of us have, particularly those of you that are in fields that are mechanically and physically hard on the body. And so what lower back pain sciatica is a conglomeration of problems that comes from nerve pressure, nerve damage, nerve irritation, which can lead to inflammation, and can lead to a word we say in chiropractic called subluxation, which is physical nerve pressure on the body. It can lead to muscle tension, spasm, to the lower part of the spine, particularly right along the belt line. So right along the back of your belt line, that can radiate all the way down to your knees, your hips, your legs, your feet, your toes. And of course, at Lakewoods Chiropractic, this is one of the most common conditions not only do we see, but that we have massive success with. So it's not uncommon that someone will come in here and have years of lower back pain, be virtually gone within a short period of time. It's not unheard of that someone will be considering lower back surgery, or have a disc that's irritated, or have some massive lower back problem that's ready to go to this another level of medical intervention that comes in, and by just taking the pressure out the nerve, getting the spine and restoring it, the lower back will start to come around again. And of course, lastly, what's so great about our care is we don't just utilize what we call the single essential. We utilize multiple essentials. And so posture training, exercise, core strengthening are all part of the process at Lakewoods Chiropractic that we do. So if you are sitting out there right now and you're wondering, is my lower back problem normal? The answer generally is no. And and of course, if we ignore it, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so at Lakewoods Chiropractic, across the street from the Forest Lake High School, our job is to help you get rid of that and help you find ways so that that doesn't come back. So the second most common condition that we see inside our office is really the headaches, neck pain problem that can really lead all the way down into problems in the shoulders, even arm pain, numbness, tingling, all the way into the hands. But it really resonates and starts from what's called the upper neck, or what medically is called the upper cervical spine. And I always try to say, because people ask where this starts from, what creates an upper neck or upper back problem. And the first thing I always look to, and especially when you're young as a kid, is the birth process. In today's culture, the birth process is where it begins. I mean, there's so much stress and force on the human spine, and that just carries through. And of course, we have, as kids, falls. I mean, I don't know if there's a child out there that hasn't fallen downstairs, or fallen off the bed or the side of a couch, or doesn't have some trauma landing and injuring themselves. And unfortunately, usually the head and the upper neck is the first area to receive the contact and the compression forces. And so that's where it really starts. And then of course we get into sports and activities, and of course we don't even have to talk about the concern with concussions and all the footballs and the lacrosses and the hockeys and the sports that are so physically taxing on the body, and particularly the upper back and neck. But then, of course, we start to look at people who get in auto accidents, and people that create whiplash from that, and people that have slips and falls off the ice, bang their head here, bang their head there. It seems like it's almost unheard of that you find someone who's 20, 30, 40, 50 years old that doesn't have a story or multiple stories of the concussion trauma that gets levied on your neck and your upper back and spine. And so what does that mean from a health standpoint? Well, headaches are simply a sign. They're simply a signal that your body's not functioning right. Upper neck tension, upper neck stress, pain, numbness, tingling in the arms, hands, and fingers, that's a nerve problem. Nerves communicate by sending signals to your body to allow it to function right. And so when your nerves, when you're under pain, Harvard University is showing that by the time you have a symptom, that 40% of any cell, tissue, or organ is damaged by the time you even feel it. So you know that those forces over the years have added up. And that doesn't even take into account your posture, which for many of us are in front of a computer, like a little turtleback, are sitting picking up kids dozens upon dozens of times, whether it's with our kids or babysitting or daycare, you name it, this happens multiple times. And so what do we do as a chiropractor? What do we do for headaches and neck pain? We remove the pressure. Why do we remove the pressure? Because the body was meant to function 100%. If you remove the pressure, not only does the person and the body feel better, but the body functions better, the body moves better. And so again, just like with sciatica or lower back pain, posture training, posture strengthening is really the core essential here, because our daily lives is what continues to create the problem. Add that in, add the chiropractic adjustments in, and I could tell you the hundreds and hundreds of stories of people who suffer from migraines for 20 years, like the 18-year-old girl I can think of, 20 years of migraines, starts getting adjusted, literally goes away, years and years and years of suffering, and really no answers. I can think about someone who's 45 years old, that used to shut the lights out and the party's over because, after 4 o'clock, the migraine was so debilitating, that light was so stressful on her body that she had to literally go in a dark room or into the bed, and the night was done. And I can think of the stories of people that are happier, are healthier, have more energy, sleep better, because the upper neck, back headaches, upper back neck problems that are existing have just literally cleared. And so if you are sitting there right now and you are asking yourself, is this chiropractic something that could possibly help me? I have just one answer for you, and that is, come get checked to find out. You never know, you never guess, you test. And so what we would want to do is come in there, find out if the nerve pressure that we're looking for is what's creating the problems that you have. So again, I want to welcome you and thank you back to our Lakewoods page, and we look forward to hearing from you again.